everyone. You have reached Jerry and Norman, our weekly update, the first one for quite a few days.
Site number one, we had terrific difficulty getting ahead of the water, and only 50 meters away we have a shaft that's over 150 feet deep, and we have no water problems at all. So in this shaft we've hit a water vein, water trap, or whatever, but if you can imagine, we have 156 feet of depth there, and we have 125 horsepower of pumps dewatering the bottom of that shaft and various staging points up and down the shaft, and we still can't get ahead of the water there. So it's going to have to be turned into either a diving operation, or it's going to have to be done with a different type of approach altogether. But at any rate, we're continuing to move forward at other sites. We've temporarily put that site on the back burner, or at least that hole at that site. There are two other excavations underway there. The concrete vault site is still underway. We at one time had 3 operations underway there, 3 excavations underway. We've cut the personnel back to only having 1 dig underway, but we're doing it 24 hours a day. And it's in a situation where we are currently at about 37 feet, I believe. The water pressure is so great. We have 3 pumps, industrial pumps, at the bottom of that hole, and we're in a water trap, in a water vein, and as we continue to pump down, the walls around the exterior of the concrete casing that we have going down erode outside the casing, and then the sand, it's all a sand environment. The sand host material then collapses downward, and the high pressure of the water forces it up underneath these 3-foot diameter culverts. And we make maybe 1 or 2 feet of progress, and then a collapse will occur, and it just pushes the sand underneath it once again, and we have to over and over and over remove the sand. So we're creating a cavern, literally a cavern outside of the concrete culverts going down, but it's our only option, and we have to run it 24 hours a day, and the ultimate gain might only be 6 inches a day, although we're pulling out maybe 6 feet of sand inside the casing in that period of time. And also the 3 pumps cannot get ahead of the water, so we're having to dive 7 feet just to get the material inside of the buckets to pull it up. About our exploration permit that we had at one of our sites. These permits are renewable, and sometimes they do not renew more than one time in the name of one person. But it's simply a matter of reapplying for the same property, someone else's name, and it's quite easy to get them renewed. But it's sort of like, especially if we're in the drilling mode, sort of like constructing an office building. You don't pull for your electrical permit until you're ready to put in the electrical wiring. And sometimes at these sites, we just simply get construction permits, building permits that allow us to come in and drill wells. And there's no limit to the number of wells that can be drilled. They just drill until they have what they want. So we do have drill permits in place where the 2 drill rigs are running right now. And so at the proper time needed, that's when we switch over. Like when the boring machinery comes in, that's when we would switch over to get a treasure hunting permit. Prior to that, we're totally legally operating in a drilling mode, and if ever we need it, then we secure the permits for treasure hunting. But over the years, we found that this works very, very well for us. So don't be concerned. The permit is not an issue to get it renewed again. And of course, with the government receiving a share of the recovery, they in turn are always happy to issue a permit, although they're difficult to get, but they are obtainable. At the concrete vault site, I think we're probably 150 feet, if I'm not mistaken, shy of our target depth there in terms of our drilling. And yesterday it's a much smaller drill rig that we're using there, by the way. And yesterday I think we made about 40 feet, if I'm not mistaken. So anyhow, hopefully by the next update that we have, we will have reached target depth there as well. And we also have an excavation underway there that is currently at 28 feet, and we believe that we have to go down to 35. We're 7 feet away. We've got terrific pressure in the walls coming, blowing sand in. There's a water trap down there that's forcing the sand to come in underneath our casing. We've got steel casing in the bottom, tubular, that's about 36 inches in diameter. Then we have concrete culverts stacked all the way up atop that. So the whole thing is cylindrical in line, floor to ceiling, from 0 to 28 feet. And while we don't know for sure, but we're estimating the depth to be at 35 feet, we're only making about 6 inches progress a day there. We had a lot of collapses in the last couple of days, and they have caused the stack of culverts to get off center, even though we've drilled holes in them and we've got steel buckles holding them in place, but the force of the sand and the water coming against them is still enough to shift them. I'll just be so happy one day when we have our tunneling machine, because that thing can come in and it would be able to take us to a depth of 35 feet with probably a 60-inch casing, or even 48-inch casing, in probably 3 days if we only had to start at an angle, maybe 40 feet away or something like that, shooting for 35 feet. We have a security team that's second to none in the Philippines. What good does it do us to open one of these vaults if we can't hold on to it? And our security team has been undergoing training recently with hunter supervision with a number of Americans that have Special Forces and SEAL team training backgrounds. As a matter of fact, for the past 5 days, Hunter's been undergoing personal training with a company from the States that's over here. They're all Special Forces types, and they're giving close-in security training for different heads of security for companies in the Philippines. And he's undergoing this 5-day course, and then he will in turn impart that information over to our security team. But you have to remember that we're in a foreign country, yet we have a legal private army on our disposal and on our payroll. Now, that was a major, major accomplishment. So that, again, is all part of our building that we've been building. We've got trucks to haul the goods with. We've got special vehicles to transport them. We've got secret storage facilities scattered around that are either available for contract or some that we already have. We've got connections all the way to the top with the police, with the military, various politicians, and the government. We've got legal gold buyers, and we have the ability to legally export gold. We've got the availability of transport airplanes and even American pilots ready to cater to our needs. And we also have banking connections to assist. So
Hi, everyone. Thank you again for listening in, and I'm sure by next week we'll know a lot more, and if we don't get any money in, I guess, I don't know. We'll just see what happens there. Everyone, please give that some thought, and if you can help out, it would be very much appreciated, I'm sure, from everyone. So take care for now. Make it a great week, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.